LDBC. This is your boy, Coach Shelton Harrison. You're live on the Coach Shelton Harrison Boxing and MMA Show live. Okay, folks, I'm going to respond to a few comments, okay? I'm going to respond to a couple of comments. This is a no, I'm not dissing anybody. I'm not sneak dissing. I'm not doing anything, okay? What I'm doing is I'm just kind of explaining where my rationale went, okay? Where my rationale went with the video I made about Mikey Garcia's victory over Dejan. I can't pronounce his last name, so... Mikey Garcia knocked this guy out, and he did it pretty easily. Okay, I guess my obsession of Dejan probably should not have been a bum. Okay, but I will go ahead and say this, okay? I will say it right now. This guy shouldn't have been in the ring with Mikey Garcia. I don't care if he was a champion or whatnot. This guy should have never been in the ring with Mikey Garcia, folks, and that's just the way that is. See, when I look at a fight, I'm looking at the technical skill sets of the fighter. And the reason why I didn't talk about this fight at all, because I knew Mikey Garcia was going to beat the hell out of this guy. I knew Mikey was going to beat this guy's ass. And you want to know why? Because when I started figuring out, oh, Mikey going to fight this guy, I started looking at, how this guy fights. I started looking at some of his old fights. And I said, this guy's tailor-made for Mikey Garcia with a knockout. I mean, I didn't make a prediction video because, what's the use, guys? In boxing, y'all know I stopped making prediction videos like a long time ago. Unless the fight's a good fight. Like I made a prediction video on Golovkin and Jacob. But see, that's pretty much, it's damn near close to a 50-50 fight, okay? I didn't even do a prediction video because I knew Mikey Garcia would knock this dude out. I knew that was going to happen. So I wasn't interested in making no prediction video about this crap. And I'm sorry. Yep, I know everybody's upset the guy's a champion. He's this, he's that. And I get it. I get what you guys are saying. But technically, I'm talking about in the ring, hand-to-hand, mano-a-mano. This guy shouldn't have been in the ring with Mikey Garcia. He didn't have the skill sets. And see, y'all talk about belts. Well, let me tell you something. You know almost anybody in boxing, if you fight enough people, you can get a belt. Literally, if you fight enough people in boxing, you can actually get one of those belts. Like, it's really not that hard to do. Even if you're an average fighter, you can get a belt. I mean, stop. You can. The belts in boxing, they mean so much less now. The corruption that these guys, they can get title shots. They can put guys in position to get title shots. These governing bodies can. They can move people up in the rankings like they did Rod Salka to fight Danny Garcia. Literally. They can move a person up and say, okay, fight this guy. And we know it's a mismatch. We know it's a promoter, yanking on the governing body's coattails to get them so they can have an easy tune-up fight for their fighter. We know that this kind of stuff happens. And I'm sorry, this guy who fought Mikey, Mr. Dejan, he shouldn't have been in the ring. Skill set wise, I said Mikey gonna murder this dude. I was telling people that early on. Mikey Garcia is gonna completely annihilate this dude. And that's exactly what happened. He almost knocked the dude out the ring. Okay? He did. But guys, this is what happens. This is what happens when you have these mismatches. I'm talking about technical. See, I know there's got to be somebody else here besides me that saw that this guy didn't have the damn skill sets to fight Mikey Garcia. Okay, I'm sorry. See, I'm looking at this as a pugilist. I look at this because I break fights down. I study angles. And I do a lot more film studies now on this channel. And I do it with all combat sports. Mainly, I've done it for women's MMA. But, I've been breaking down boxing for as long as I can remember. I've been studying film on boxing and fighters for as long as I can remember. I mean, I've been doing it for so long, I understand what I'm looking at. I know exactly what I'm looking at. And I know when there's a guy in a ring who shouldn't be in a ring with another guy. Like, I know that completely. I mean, I'm not trying to trip. I'm not trying to take anything away from Mikey Garcia. But see, what I have to say then is, when they were offered to fight Urielkus Gamboa, or, when people were talking about that fight, I'm sorry, they didn't get an offer, that fight never materialized. Now, why? Why didn't the governing bodies really force that fight? I mean, it would have been it would have been a good fight. It would have been a great fight, and it would have been a good matchup between two world-class fighters. Why not that? Why the easy road? Why the easy road? They're getting paid a lot of money. Why the easy road? I mean, see, we have so many fighters in boxing that's undefeated because they're fighting nobody of notoriety. That is what I was getting at. This guy was undefeated before Mikey Garcia knocked him out. And the only name on his resume that I saw that was notable, I saw Ricky Burns. Okay, there are a couple other guys on his resume that many of you probably know that I don't know, and I'll come on and admit that. Okay, But do you know how easy it is now to be undefeated in boxing? It really is, because you know what your manager's going to do? He's going to look for people with all these bad records. And I got this from Darius I Am King Irvin. He told me this. And I've had a couple of fighters. The great Alvin Simpson told me this. And Alvin Simpson is a legend. He's a legend in the sport. He said what these managers do is they look at resumes and they look at records of fighters, and they look for these fighters with these garbage resumes so they can get their fighters a bunch of wins to make their fighters look like that they beat up a bunch of people. I'm trying to tell y'all. That's what some of these managers do. Or they get these people that's had a lot of soft touches. See, these managers know what fighters have been in the ring with difficult opponents. They know. So you can have a guy with 10 losses, but, you know, all his fights, they come down to the wire. They're not going to put their fighter in the ring with somebody like that who's going to take him to the limit. They ain't going to do that. Okay? They're going to try to look for the guy who their fighter can knock out. This goes on in boxing every time. Or they can get an easy opponent. And then maybe after 5 fights, when we done complained about it enough, then we'll get them in a tough fight. I mean, it's this kind of stuff. This is what I was talking about. I'm not putting down Mikey. I'm not putting down Dejan. But unfortunately, in my opinion, I don't think this guy should have been in the ring with Mikey Garcia. I mean, first of all, Mikey Garcia was faster. Mikey Garcia was stronger, much stronger than this guy. Okay? This guy, he was hitting Mikey Garcia. The punches were bouncing off Mikey Garcia. I mean, Mikey Garcia just kept looking, kept coming forward. I mean, this guy's punches bounced off Mikey Garcia. Nothing. Mikey didn't feel them punches. Mikey felt none of those punches. Okay? This guy, you know, he didn't even utilize his head movement. This guy was a walking punching bag, and all Mikey Garcia did was teed off. That's it. This guy had no head movement. This guy stayed flat-footed a majority of the time. This guy used no angles. Do you know a guy like that fights like that, with a skill set of Mikey Garcia? That's knockout instantly. That's a knockout or a stoppage. That's what's going to happen to fighters like that fight Mikey Garcia. If you don't have head movement, if you don't rotate, if you don't move your hips, if you don't move your feet, if you're flat-footed and you don't move your head, you don't slip punches, you just stand there, you're going this. Look, and let me circle this for y'all, because I think some of y'all mistook me. I wasn't trying to put these guys down, man, but no, man, no. This is what happens. This right here is what happens. I'm trying to tell y'all. You put this guy, Dejan, in the ring with anybody with skill set. You put him in there, he going to get beat. Literally, you put him in there with anybody, and I'm talking about a top level of fighter. He's going to get beat because he don't have the skill sets. I mean, now, you know, could he gain them at this stage in his career? Probably. But how many years does Dejan have left? Probably 4, maybe 4 or 5 years left in his career. So it's likely that he's probably going to pick up any new, you know, habits. We don't know. But I tell you something right now, I bet you he's going to get in more fights now. And I bet you some of these top-tier fighters, I bet you they're going to want to fight him too. I bet you that's what's going to happen. But I don't know. Okay, this is your boy, Coach Shelton Harrison. Tell me what you think. I'm done. Subscribe.